Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesh Shunyavadi Vashatadi Shatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gotase Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyeva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Just mute me for a second. Am I muted? Do you see the color difference in my camera and your setting? Your setting looks like 1970s, reddish. इससे बढ़िया तो this laptop camera is coming. Unmute me. We again, all of you come forward. Hare Krishna. So, once upon a time, we were reading from the 4th canto, and we were in the 9th chapter. So, we are supposed to read from the 50th verse. I will just do a recap of this chapter today. It's a very, very important chapter. For those of you, because the screen was on the other side, you have to take out your mobile, open Veda Base, 4th canto, 9th chapter. You have to be active on your mobile. Only then you will get it. So, yeah. So, text 1, I'll just read out that and then begin with a recap of this very important chapter. Maitriya Ta eva mussana bhaya urukrame Kratavanamaha prayayustrivistapam Sahasrashirshapi tato garutmata Madhuvanam vratya didakshaya gataha. Translation. The great sage Maitreya told Vidura, when the Devtas were thus reassured by the personality of Godhead, they were freed from all fears, and after offering their obeisances, they returned to their heavenly planners. Then the Lord, who is not different from the Sahasrisha incarnation, got on the back of Garuda, who carried him to the Madhuvan forest to see his servant Dhruva. So Prabhupada in the paper talks about this avatar. So what has happened so far is Dhruva Maharaj has been performing austerities. All of you hopefully remember those. And Narad Muni taught him how to worship Lord Narayan. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, like that. So his 6 months of severe austerities have been completed. Devtas are feeling choked because there is no air, because Dhruva Maharaj has stopped breathing now, because of which the air of the whole universe has stopped flowing. So Devtas go to the Vishnu, they pray to the Vishnu, and now Lord, um, he acknowledges Devta's concern. He says, "Don't worry, I will take care of it." So from text number 1 to 5 is a discussion of how Lord appears to Dhruva Maharaj. And in that, we'll take a look at text number 4. So now the Lord comes down to where Dhruva was performing his tapasya, and Lord gives his darshan to Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruva Maharaj now happens to see the Lord, and he wants to offer prayer. Text number 4 translation. Although Dhruva Maharaj was a small boy, he wanted to offer prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead in a suitable language. But because he was inexperienced, he could not adjust himself immediately. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, being situated in everyone's heart, could understand Dhruva Maharaj's awkward position. Out of his causeless mercy, he touched his conch shell to the forehead of Dhruva Maharaj, who stood before him with folded hands. This is a very important episode, particularly for all of us. Dhruva Maharaj represents a Sakama Bhakta, not the pure devotee. He had approached the Lord for fulfilling his material desires. And to some extent, we can draw parallels with our life. So, like every morning, we come in for Darshanati, and many times we are standing clueless or we are mumbling some prayers, not sure what to offer prayer to the Lord. So, here is a very important purport. Prabhupada says in the first few lines, every devotee wants to chant the transcendental qualities of the Lord. And devotees are always interested in hearing about the qualities of the Lord. Few lines below. It is therefore understood that when a devotee writes or speaks about the Lord, his words are dictated by the Lord from within. So here the Maharaj wanted to offer prayer, but he didn't know how to offer prayer. And Lord touched the conch with his forehead and empowered Dhruva Maharaj to glorify the Lord. And this is another way we can see how Srila Prabhupada's writing is so transforming. Prabhupada often said, this is not what I have written. This has been dictated by the Lord Himself. And the result is, whoever regularly reads Prabhupada books can very surely be or can become very surely immune to the material contamination. And for those of us who do not read everyday Prabhupada books, there is no way. Of course, you may say, Prabhu, we chant the holy names of the Lord, 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Yes, sure, the holy names of the Lord acts as an armor against the onslaughts of Maya. But what is really the quality of our chanting? The quality can be, the chanting, we were reading His Holiness Sachinandan Maharaj book the other day, and Maharaj says, the quality chanting happens at the stage of Ruchi, when we have attraction towards the Lord. And to have that attraction towards the Lord, it means there is a great amount of purity of the heart. Now, how would attraction develop for the Lord? When you know about the Lord, when you hear regularly. For example, if just a quick example, if you ever had a Hollywood or Bollywood star as a hero, as a role model, how did anyone, or let's say from anyone from the cricket or any sports field, if anyone had been your icon or role model, how did they become an icon or role model? You are regularly associating with them. Let's say if Sachin Tendulkar was your favorite sports star, so on a regular basis you were watching his matches. And because there was a regular association, that personality became very prominent for you. Similarly, if you're watching movie of one particular hero regularly, then that hero becomes very prominent for us. So similarly, to have attraction for the Lord, that is only possible if we regularly hear. Now, when you talk about the quality of hearing, again, hearing is definitely very important. It's most important, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu. But all of you are now, you're not just the beginners, you've been practicing for years together. And at this stage of life, reading of Prabhupada books should be compulsory. If you think 16 hours of chanting is compulsory, that will qualify me for Diksha, then reading a Prabhupada book would qualify for survival in bhakti. We just cannot avoid it. And that's the potency of Prabhupada books. I believe some of you might even have an experience. Anyone have had an experience where you have not read for days and weeks together? And naturally, our impetus to practice spiritual life and our ability to tolerate external situations, and has anyone experienced it, begins to grow down. And if in case you read, suddenly you pick up a book and you read for a few days, you feel surcharged. Anyone of you had that experience? Raise your hand. So that's the whole point. And Prabhupada is saying, if a devotee glorifies the Lord, actually the Lord dictating. So the words spoken by the writings of Srila Prabhupada are not some ordinary writings. This is something we should mark for ourselves. Something, even if not 10 minutes, we should take out to read Prabhupada books. And we cannot be so busy not to have 10 minutes. And then text number 5, it is mentioned that how Dhruv Maharaj became fully realized. At that time, Dhruv Maharaj became perfectly aware of the Vedic conclusion and understood the absolute truth and his relationship with all living entities. In accordance with the line of devotional service to the Supreme Lord, whose fame is widespread, Dhruva, who in the future would receive a planet which would never be annihilated, even during the time of dissolution, offered his deliberate and conclusive prayers. Once again, at different stages in the path of bhakti, there are different sets of emphasis to be given. Just to conclude the previous discussion, when you are in the beginning stages of Krishna consciousness in the initial year or so, the major emphasis is hearing. And your quality of hearing is also different than the quality of hearing that you do today. Because when things are new, you're more attentive. When things become more or less familiar, sorry to say, but this has been my experience. In Bhagavatam classes, most of the devotees are often sleeping. I'm not talking about here, I'm talking about everywhere. Most of the devotees are often sleeping only. And the reason is because they have heard the subject matter, they probably would have spoken about the subject matter, and that's how the mundaneness enters into our consciousness. I was in Simhachalam, and I forgot the name. He's the new GBC of that area now. He's from Zurich Temple, Switzerland. So I was sitting in front, it was a whole hall packed morning program. And this particular devotee, most of the class, he just kept looking at me. So at the end of the session, we met and I said, "Thank you, Prabhu. It was a nice class and all that." And I'm also one of the speaker. So speaker generally don't look at speaker. Speaker will look at the rest of the audience. So he said something interesting. He said, "Prabhu, you might have noticed why I was looking at you or most of the class." I said, "Yeah, I mean, it looked like as if you and I are only conversing. Most of the class you're looking at me." He said, "Because your eyes are only wide open. You're the only one who was paying attention to what I was saying. Everyone else looked distracted." This is such a sorry state of our affair. Where are we headed to? What kind of community development are we doing? What kind of taste are we developing? There's something seriously wrong. There's something seriously wrong about it. Anyways, so at this stage, now please understand, for all of you, you attending Bhagavatam class is a compulsion for you. So you're physically present, but I have no control on how you're mentally present or not. But now when you go back in your time, take out Prabhupada's book and read, that is your voluntary devotional service. This is not voluntary devotional service. There's a compulsion here. So that way, that will count more than this. I'm not saying not to come for the morning class, but now when you take out a time to take out Prabhupada's book and read, that is your sincerity. That is actually devotional service, because now you're taking an attempt to practice. Now here, this is a compulsion. You have to come for the morning program. Otherwise, somebody will mark your attendance. I'll follow why you're not there. So we need to understand this. And for those of you who are new, the subject matter will be very eligible. Who have been around for a while, you will be totally distracted. Somehow this has become the culture. We open our laptop, we sit down with that and whatnot, do multitasking. Not the good culture. So now text number 5 says, Dhruva Maharaj became fully realized. How a 5-year-old boy can become realized? Open question to all of you. Any quick thoughts? A 5-year-old boy, Dhruva, became fully realized. How did it happen? We are 25, 35, so long. At least, how many of us, in fact, everyone is here practicing bhakti for more than 6 months? Yes? Dhruva became realized. What about me? Why? How did Dhruva become realized? Any thoughts? Yes, Kashipu?
Special mercy.
Yeah, the answer is simple. Dhruva became realized because he received the blessings of the mercy of the Lord. You and I will also become realized not by our endeavor. If we receive the mercy of the Lord. Now the obvious question is, what Dhruva did that pleased Lord so much that Lord was forced to give his mercy? Obviously. And what we are not doing, because of which we are not receiving mercy. Of course, I'm not receiving, we all are receiving mercy of the Lord. We all are receiving, therefore we are sitting here. Otherwise, why all of you in this whole world of distraction even think of living a simple life? So no doubt we all have received mercy. But what did Dhruva did so special, because of which he received such a special mercy that he became self-realized? Okay, Tejas Prabhu, what's your thought? Online. How would we hear? 1 second, just going through setting up the sounds.
Yes.
Yes, Tejasvu, where are you? Yeah. Yeah, thank you for that. So, because Dhruv Maharaj followed the instructions of Narad Muni as it was told to him. So, this is something we can mark for ourselves, and that's a whole lifetime project. It's not going to be easy. It's a lifetime project. I'm just trying to raise certain observation for all of us to know, so that we know that there is some areas of improvement for each one of us. To follow the instructions is not going to be easy, but at least we should be conscious of what am I following, what am I not following. So when we come to take darshan of the Lord, we know what to pray for. My dear Lord, please give me the strength to follow the instructions. Guru Mukha Padmavakya Chittete Koryaki Arana Koryo Manyasha. Then this stanza will make sense. Otherwise, we'll just dance for nothing. We'll just say Jai Prabhupada for nothing. But now the stanza will make sense to us because we have a clarity. I'm able to do something, I'm not able to do so many things. And not able to do so many things, I need mercy, my dear Lord. I need your strength. Only then I can follow. If you don't have that clarity, what will we ask the Lord? Then we'll only ask for material desires. Because there is nothing in spiritual life we need to do. Because we have no clarity about how our spiritual life is going on. So that's the point which is mentioned in the fifth verse. Because he received the mercy of the Lord. And why he received the mercy, as Tejas said? Because he followed the instructions of his spiritual master. And Prabhupada said so many times, if you follow what I have taught you, success is unavoidable. Then text number 6 to 17, Dhruv Maharaj begins to offer prayers. Again, I consider this as a very important section. Dhruv Maharaj representing Sakama Bhakta. Somewhat our situation is also like that. That's how we have started. So when we come to the Lord, what do we pray? What are we doing? Are we just moving our hands to offer the flower, or is there any prayer? So let me ask this thing. What prayers Dhruv Maharaj is standing right in front of the Lord? What prayers Dhruva can make to the Lord? You don't have to necessarily say what is written in that. What do you think Dhruva can make the prayer? As you all know, Dhruva had gone to the Lord asking for a kingdom far greater than the kingdom of his great grandfather, Brahmaji. So now Dhruva Maharaj is standing right in front of the Lord. Imagine you are standing right in front of the Lord. Lord is there. Of course, He's there. We may not understand with our senses as of now. But imagine Lord is there in whatever way you think to feel it is to be real. What prayers would you offer? What prayers can we offer? Yes, Anshupu.
Please keep me in the association of devotees so that we can do the devotional
Okay,
service.
fantastic. Write down. So you know next time on what to pray actually. Because oftentimes devotee not knowing what to pray, they complain about the blessing that they've received. Why am I always in the association of devotees? That's a blessing for you, not a curse. If you're not able to understand the association of devotee, that's your false ego, that's your anartha that is obstructing you to understand the blessing. So first thing is, my dear Lord, please kindly always keep me in the association of the devotees, or give me the association of the devotees. Why association of devotees? Anyone online? You're welcome to participate. Mother Medhavni, go ahead. You can add to this, or you can add something else to the prayer. Either way is fine. Hare Krishna. How do I hear? This is maximum. Maybe then we need to connect some speaker or something. We have so many speakers, isn't it? Can't hear it only. Mother, go ahead. Can you just be a little louder? Yes, yes.
Am I audible? So, Prabhuji, I was thinking it's only the association of devotees that we are able to remember the Lord. Otherwise, when you're alone, we are so caught up with all of our material things that we're not able to remember the Lord. But when you come in the association of devotees, because they are glorifying the Lord, somehow or other, we are also able to hear and execute devotional service. So that's one. And the other point I wanted to add is, Prabhu, I was just thinking that suddenly if the Lord comes in front of me, I thought I'd just recite the Brahma Samhita prayers because Prabhupada has always told that first we have to glorify the Lord. Before we ask the Lord anything, the first is to glorify the Lord.
Wonderful.
And then the last part is when you ask the Lord for something. Thank you, Prabhupada.
So two things Mother Medhavni made. First thing about the association of devotees, she said why it's needed or why we will ask that because in the association of devotees only we can remember the Lord. That was on that. And second thing she was making a point which is very valid. If I have to pray to the Lord, if the Lord comes in front of us means what? Lord is always there in front of us. You have an altar in the house. So how do we offer worship, offer prayers? Very nicely she said, first we need to glorify the Lord. We shouldn't be only asking. We should glorify the Lord. And that's what Dhruv Maharaj first glorifies the Lord. That's what you see across the pages of Bhagavatam. Any character who's glorifying the Lord, offering prayer, first they'll glorify the Lord. So set a system for ourselves. We glorify the Lord. And how do we glorify the Lord in a simple way? You can offer the pranam mantra. Hey Krishna, Karuna Sindhu, Dina Bandhu, Jagatpate. So, some prayers like that, like this. Mother said, I can recite Brahma Samhita, fantastic, recite Brahma Samhita, other things like that. And then we can offer a prayer like, my dear Lord, please grant me the blessing of association of devotees. All right, what else will you ask for the Lord? So you glorify the Lord, what will you ask the Lord? What have you been asking until now? अरे डेली तुम दर्शनार्थी में आते हो, इतना क्या सोच रहे हो? ऐसा थोड़ा कोई मैंने आपसे बड़ा फॉरेन क्वेश्चन पूछ लिया, रिमोट क्वेश्चन. एवरी डे यू आर अटेंडिंग दर्शनार्थी. व्हाट डू यू आस्क द लॉर्ड? यस नीरज प्रभु.
Please give me strength to follow the instruction of like authority and
Okay.
engage me in that
Devotion, sir.
path mission.
Okay, so please give me the strength to follow instructions and engage me in devotional service. Very nice. What else? Who have not spoken? Mother Ashwini.
That we can chant attentively the whole time.
Okay, we can practice our devotional life attentively, including chanting of the holy names of the Lord sincerely. Please write down. These are the prayers that we should know for ourselves. Otherwise, often we are clueless while we are taking darshan of the Lord. Yes, Kuldeep Prabhu, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So we can ask Lord that you please shower your mercy so that I can follow the Krishna path.
We don't have a second mic, so whatever they say, the online devotees can hear. Go ahead.
We can ask the Lord that please shower your mercy so that I can follow that devotional path or remain
Yeah, for you, Apurva, you can take out this thing and I can use the other and they can use the other. Why do you have 3 mic system? Oh, like that. ठीक है, fine. Leave it right now. बाद में करेंगे. So forget it. Let me focus on subject. Too much technical glitches otherwise. So fine. Okay, Mother Chintamani, go ahead quickly.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Bhagavat Pranam. Please accept me and engage me in keep me engaged in your devotional service.
Yeah, so perfect. So let's thank you for that. Let's take a look at it. In the 11th verse, that's what the Ruma says, my dear Lord, please give me the association of devotees. That's our text number 11. Then text number 12, he explains, why do I need association of devotees? Reading the translation of text number 12. O Lord, who have a lotus navel, if a person happens to associate with a devotee whose heart always hankers after your lotus feet, seeking always their fragrance, he is never attached to the material body or in a bodily relationship, to offspring, friends, home, wealth, and wife, which are very, very dear to materialistic persons. Indeed, he does not care for them. In other words, association of devotees brings forward detachment. And then in text number 17, he makes the following prayer. And text number 17, and he says, O my Lord, O Supreme Lord, You are the supreme personified form of all benediction. Therefore, for one who abides in your devotional service with no other desire, worshipping your lotus feet is better than becoming king and lording it over a kingdom. That is the benediction of worshipping your lotus feet. To ignorant devotees like me, you are the causelessly merciful maintainer, just like a cow who takes care of the newly born calf by supplying milk and giving it protection from attack. Go to the last three lines of the puppet. Last line of the puppet. Prabhupada writes, Dhruva Maharaj, being cognizant of his desire for material benefit, wanted protection from the Lord so that he might not be misled or deviated from the path of devotional service by material desires. Once Srila Prabhupada was standing in front of the deities and he was offering a prayer. A devotee asked Prabhupada, Prabhupada, what do you pray? You are a pure devotee of the Lord. Prabhupada said, this was the question was asked on multiple occasions. One point in time, Prabhupada said, I was praying to the Lord to protect me so that I should not get carried away by material desires. And he said, oh Prabhupada, you are a pure devotee. And Prabhupada said, Maya is very strong. Another instance, Prabhupada was praying again, devotee asked, Prabhupada, what do you pray? Prabhupada said, my dear Lord, please protect me because you have given me so much resources, you have given me so many followers. I should not become proud of my achievements, thinking that I'm such a great person. Because everyone is there on my call and order. They are ready to do anything for me. I should not become proud of it, my dear Lord. Please protect me. Again, the devotee said, Prabhupada, you are a pure devotee. Prabhupada said, yes, but this is material world. We all need protection because Maya is very, very powerful. So anyways, a reminder for what we should be praying. And then from 18th verse onwards, Lord begins to speak, or 19th verse precisely, and the Lord gives us blessing. Text number 19. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Vedaham te vasitam Hridi Ragnya Balaka Tat Prayachami Bhadram te Durapam Api Suvrata. The personality of God had said, my dear Dhruva, son of the king, you have executed pious vows, and I also know the desire within your hearts. Although your desire is very ambitious and very difficult to fulfill, I shall favor you with its fulfillment. All good fortune unto you. Sometimes devotee really surprises the Lord. Here the Lord is surprised. Kya maang liya tune? Lord is saying it's difficult for me to fulfill also. Just like Arjuna had taken the vow, if I don't kill Jayadratha before the sunset tomorrow, I will commit suicide. Again, the Lord was surprised. So, by becoming the devotee of the Lord, we are not doing Lord a favor. We are only increasing his anxiety. Please understand this. Don't think that Lord is going to dance in ecstasy because Phalana Dikana Prabhu has become his devotee. We only increase his anxiety by having all kind of desires to be fulfilled. Lord is expressing his surprise. If you want to look at the Sanskrit, what Lord is saying here. Tat prachami bhadram te durapam api survata. Durapa is very difficult. Very difficult to obtain. Dhruva, what did you ask? You put me on extra. Out of my office, I have to work now to fulfill your desire. I have to give extra time to fulfill your desire like that. So, as we know, the Lord fulfilled Dhruva's desire. Text number 9, next verses you see, Lord says, okay, I bless you with that. For you, I'll create a Dhruva Loka. So, a question over here. First, does the Lord fulfill material desires? If yes, that happened in the case of Dhruva, why would Lord do so? Because you're just now offering a prayer. You said, my dear Lord, please protect me from material desire. And now, Lord, fulfill your material desire. That's contradictory. What's your thought for it? Lord, I fulfill the material desire. So, question is, does Lord fulfill the material desire? Well, Lord can do everything. He is Varadraj. But the point is, the devotee is praying, my dear Lord, please protect me from material desire. So then why Lord is fulfilling the desire? Yes, this is true.
Now that desire desire won't affect the devotee. It will be utilized in service of Lord.
Okay, so very valid point. Tejas Puri is saying now that desire is not going to be harmful. The fulfillment of the desire will not be harmful. The devotee will not get distracted. So, very first thing, does the Lord fulfill material desires? Yes. Akama sarva kamo va moksha kamo dharati tivrena bhakti yogena. Yes, Sukdev Goswami Mr. said, Lord fulfills material desires. The question is, why Lord is not fulfilling my material desire? He fulfilled Dhruva. The reason is why he's not fulfilling your material desire, because if he fulfills yours, then you will say Tata bye bye to the Lord. You say, Prabhu, thank you very much, I leave. I've seen so many times, so many people in the past. I remember those experiences back in Tamanna. So many people used to come and they had all this kind of, oh, मुझे foreign जाने का मौका नहीं मिल रहा, oh, मेरी girlfriend से शादी नहीं हो रही, फलाना ढिकाना. And the moment they used to get their problem solved, that used to be the last day of the program. I remember so many examples like this on those days in Tamanna used to be. And I used to wonder, the moment you get your desire fulfilled, then people will not. So, Lord fulfills, yes, but He fulfills. So, see, this brings about a very important, again, Sambandha Gyan about the Lord. Lord is like our loving Father. He is not doing a business transaction. When you go to the shopkeeper and you ask for a smoke, the shopkeeper knows very well, despite knowing it very well, it's cancerous or dangerous for your health. The moment you offer money, because there's a transaction, he doesn't care damn about you. He'll give you the smoke. But the Lord will not do that. What does it indicate? The Lord loves us. The Lord really loves us. Pitamaha, that's what Krishna says. I am the seed-giving Father. Therefore, He will not fulfill the material desire unless He is sure you can handle it. And that's what the reason here Lord fulfilled. And the reason is because now He could handle it. Then, text number 23, Lord speaks about the future of Suruchi and Uttama. Text number 23, Lord says, sometime in the future, your brother Uttama will go hunting in the forest. I hope you're all able to follow that. Text number 23. And while absorbed in hunting, he will be killed. Your stepmother Suruchi, being maddened upon the death of her son, will go to search him out in the forest, but she will be devoured by a forest fire. What's happening here? So, Dhruva has not asked anything about his stepmother and brother. He just went to get a kingdom greater than his grandfather, great-grandfather. And now Lord have blessed him with that. And now Lord is telling what will happen to Suruchi and Uttama. Why? What to do with Suruchi and Uttama now? And the Prabhupada writes in the Prabhupada, the reason is the Dhruva Maharaj was there in the forest at the first place because of these two candidates. Suruchi had offended Dhruva Maharaj. So a Vaishnava may forget of the offense, but the Lord can never forget of the offense. Now at this point of time, Dhruva had no ill feeling towards Suruchi and Uttama. Neither he is asking the Lord anything about them. It's a very scary point. And it's a very, very important point. Please know, Dhruva has not asked the Lord anything about Suruchi and Uttama. Dhruva has not even desired anything for them or anything ill for them. His desire was to get a kingdom greater than the kingdom of his great-grandfather. But Lord remembered everything. And Lord is telling Dhruva, your stepmother and stepbrother, they will die in such and such. Well, what's the big deal? Everyone is going to die. Somebody will die of heart attack, somebody will die because of this thing and that thing. But this is not the natural case of death. Uttama will die because he will be killed by yakshas. And Mother Suruchi. Now, Uttama dying in a battlefield is not a sign of, it's not something to be sorrowful about. It's good for a Kshatriya. And anyways, Uttama had not done an aparadh. Who had done an aparadh? Suruchi. And look how painful that she had. Suruchi, being maddened upon the death of her son, will go to search him out in the forest, but she will be devoured by a forest fire, which means she will die out of lamentation and grieving for her lost son, which would be a slow and a painful death. Unlike the death of an Uttama, shot by an arrow and died. her heart will be pierced because of the grief to such an extreme where she cannot tolerate, and because of it she would die. So Suruchi would have a painful death, and that is the result of her Vaishnava aparadh. So anyone here had heard that Lord Nrsimhadev class that I gave in the temple recently? I'll make a point from there then if you've not heard. So one of the concluding point I was making about is, that was the second last point. It is said that Lord Krishna's anger is manifested as Lord Nrsimhadev. But it's not that only Nrsimhadev became angry. Even Varadev was angry. So why we say Lord Krishna's anger is manifested as Nrsimhadev but not Varadev? What is the difference between Varadev's anger and Nrsimhadev's anger? Both were angry. The difference is Varadev became angry because he was insulted, while Nrsimhadev became angry because Prahlad was insulted. So it is mentioned, when Vaishnavas are offended, Lord Krishna becomes angry like Nrsimhadev. His anger knows no limit and no bound. So much so, in the 9th chapter and the following chapter, when you read in that particular pastime, no Brahma, no Shiva, no Lakshmi, nobody could pacify the Lord. That is the level of anger of the Lord, except for the one who had been offended. Prahlad was offended. Only Prahlad could have satisfied the Lord, because the Lord became angry on his behalf. So Lakshmi cannot go, you can't go to the Lakshmi and say, my dear Lakshmi, I have offended Prahlad. Can you please go and tell to the Lord, please be calm? Lakshmi will not go. Nobody can go and protect that offender unless he go and begs forgiveness from the devotee who he has offended. So it's a very important point. Remember this graphic example of how Suruchi had to face a painful death because of Vaishnava Prad. So let's come to some practicality here. We are staying together, all of us, and those of you who are part of the community, staying in the community. There are always going to be some up and down. There are always going to be some issues. It's impractical to understand and believe that we'll have a healthy and good relationship with everyone. That's not possible. And the reason why it's not possible is all of us are acting under the modes of material nature. When we are acting under the modes of material nature, goodness will create a friction with passion and ignorance. It's going to create a friction, without a doubt. There is always going to be some conflict. There would be somebody. Now, if you think, this is my good friend, he and I align well, it's just because both of you are in the same mode. If you're Rajasic, he's also Rajasic, that's the reason you're going well along. So, not because of that, you have become so advanced and beyond the modes of material nature, and now you're able to see him as, he's also Bhakta. That's not what happens, in the Kanishta stage, and particularly when you are too much influenced by the modes of material nature. So, it's a fact that is always going to be the case. Now, if it is a fact, is always going to be the case, then what should be our course of action? Who to be blamed? If your mind is finding fault, is there anyone whose mind doesn't find fault with others? When in the history your mind has not found fault? When you were staying with parents, your mind would be finding fault with parents and brothers. When we were staying in the college hostel, your mind would be finding fault with the hostel warden or the class friends or school friend, whatnot. When we came to the professional life, we were living outside in the PG, we were finding fault with the PG owner, with the office manager, whatnot. Then we came to the devotee sangha, now we are finding fault with devotees who are staying. What is new in it? Now the current fault, the current relationship issue, we make it such a big issue as if never you had an issue with anyone. And after a while, that issue will be forgotten. After a while, when each of your modes have changed or aligned with each other, that person will become a friend. How much we are tricked by Maya, how much we are tricked by the game of mind. And that time when we are disturbed, we take it so seriously. The point is, how do we deal with it? What would you do? If you're getting disturbed in certain association because of a certain way of behavior, etc., what would you do? What should be the Vaishnava conduct? I'm not even speaking about ideal Vaishnava conduct. What should be a Vaishnava conduct? Yes, Anshul Prabhu. Then Adar Shrimani Prabhu.
Forget and forgive.
Forget and forgive. Okay, which is good, but it's difficult. But okay, true. But if it's difficult, which is going to be difficult in a given situation, for somebody who have this habit of taking things so seriously and personally, what are the course of action? Other than caution. Yes, other Prabhu.
We can align ourselves with the thought of the authority, but they want us to remain.
Okay, cooperate. Okay, caution Prabhu.
Try to consciously look for good qualities or
Yeah, I mean, don't look for it. Pick a pen and paper and write about it, because the mind will get distracted after a few minutes. I can share my own personal example. I'll not go into a lot of details. I recently had that experience. I was working in a close relationship. So before going off to sleep, particular devotee said something which really bothered me. And I like, this is too much now. This is going on too much now. Too much situation like this, because of which my mind became restless. I had a tough time sleeping for initial 1 or 2 hours. Generally, it never happens to me, but this time it happened. Next morning, I woke up and I said, "Hell with everything. It ain't working out. I can't control the mind, but there are certain things which I can influence the mind. So stop forgetting about controlling the mind. Why don't I influence the mind? How can I influence the mind? My mind is chattering about this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, because he has been munching on it. I said, okay, let me feed positive to the mind. You cannot control, but you can influence the mind. You have that much control with you. But even if you don't influence the mind, nobody can help you. So I took a pen and paper and I said, okay, I am going to write 25 good things about this devotee, not 5, but 25. I'll force the hell out of my mind. I'll make him yell and scream, leave it, I will not think about the devotee anymore, forgive me. So I said, okay. And I can tell you, just after 10 points, everything got sorted out. And I could function. So don't just think, take a pen and paper and write about it. Unless you wish to help yourself, nobody can help you. Some people just don't want to improve, they're too lazy. They just want to continue with this whole cycle of complaint and fault finding. But it doesn't work, it doesn't serve the purpose. And look what happens to the Vaishnava Prad. Krishna takes the form of Nrsimhadev when there is a case of Vaishnava Prad. And at this stage of life, if you don't cultivate right practice, you may say, Prabhuji, I am Kanishta, he is Kanishta. Why Krishna will bother about Kanishta? Krishna will only bother if you offend Madhyama and Uttama. Now, if you can you imagine, if you are used to offending Vaishnavas, what prevents you from offending Uttama and Madhyama? Isn't it? So better right now train yourself in the right way so you can protect yourself. So anything else? Right course of action? So we said forgive, forget and forgive, follow the authority, cooperate, gratitude journal, precisely what Kashyap was saying. Mother Chintamani?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, consider that is this person's nature and just forget about it.
Okay, forgive and forget. Madhendra Radhika?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, we should analyze the situation in which this devotee has acted this way. We would have done something because of which this devotee has behaved or felt something wrong about what we have done something.
What the analysis points out that this person only at fault. I am right. It's a very dangerous thing to go. What will you do then? Then is it my right to get offended now? Because my analysis concludes that he was wrong, I was right.
No, like you said, we are listing out all the qualities, the good qualities. That means we would have done something would have done which has provoked the other devotee. So I think we should interpret ourselves also and see what has gone wrong instead of directly only blaming the other devotee.
Correct. So the valid point in that, and I would say just adding to the philosophical angle to it, always remember there are always going to be some conflicts. So with your current mood, a current mode of consciousness, a mode when it does not align well with other, there's going to be a friction. Whose mistake it is? Whose mistake it is? Is it other person mistake because he's also not passionate as you are? Or maybe he's also not as much in goodness as you are? Whose mistake it is?
Sometimes it happens eventually.
No, that's okay. Whose mistake it is, I'm asking. Who to be blamed if the modes are not aligning? Modes! It is not your problem, it's a problem with the modes. Why do you have to make it your problem, his problem? Arey yaar, he's acting in a certain mode, I'm acting in a certain mode. The problem is the modes. And the solution is? What is the solution? Rise above the modes. The conflict should give you the impetus to practice sincerely. हाँ जी क्या बोले महात्मा?
Align with
Okay. Not align with the modes. Rise above the modes. Therefore, conflicts are an opportunity in that way that will teach you how dangerous it is to be part of the modes of material nature. Not feel settled within it. Because as long as you're going to be modes of material nature, you will always have conflict. You will always have conflict. Why? Krishna says, nature of this world is to produce conflict. So then it happens that you should make a determined vow to rise above the modes, take shelter of Krishna, rather than taking the shelter of your mind and taking the path of fault finding other devotees. All right. So that was about text number 23. So this is what happens. Lord concludes, and then 26th verse, Lord lefts. He leaves Dhruva by blessing him. Text number 27. Now, Maitreya Muni is speaking about what did Dhruva do next. So here, text number 27 is mentioned. Despite having achieved the desired result of his determination by worshipping the lotus feet of the Lord, Dhruva Maharaj was not very pleased. Thus he returned to his home. अरे तुम्हें तुम्हारी इच्छा का फल मिल गया? नहीं, तुम्हें तुम्हारी इच्छा मिल गई, तुम्हें तुम्हारी तपस्या का फल मिल गया. Why Dhruva will not be happy?
because he realized that he could have asked much more than.
And this brings a very important section. Is my humble request, please read out text number 28 to 36 for yourself later on. This is Dhruva's realization, from which we learn if we are approaching the Lord for fulfillment of material desire, we are only going to regret. Yet the Lord will fulfill it eventually, but there will not be any satisfaction. Therefore, Dhruva is he's hopeless, not hopeless, he's unhappy, despondent, not despondent, he's hopeless only. He's unhappy because of it. That's a very important lesson. And in that, let's take a look at one or two verses. In fact, Vidurji was surprised. Text number 28, Vidurji says, why would, let's take a look at text number 28. My dear Brahmana, the abode of the Lord is very difficult to attain. It can be attained only by pure devotion service, which alone pleases the most affectionate and merciful Lord. Dhruva achieved this position even in one life. He was very wise and conscientious. Why then he was not very pleased? Text number 29. Very important verse actually. This is one of the very important verse. Text number 29, Maitreya speaks. Translation. Maitreya said, Dhruva Maharaj's heart, which was pierced by the arrows of the harsh words of his stepmother, was greatly aggrieved. And thus, when he fixed upon his goal of life, he did not forget her misbehavior. Which means he was doing bhakti, but he was still maintaining the grudge toward her. This is what he is regretting. What kind of bhakti was I doing? Well, I was doing bhakti. Why I had to have this feeling of grudge towards Vaishnava? They did this to me, they did that to me. He did not demand. And thus when he fixed upon his goal of life, he did not forget her misbehavior. Therefore, Lord punished. He did not demand actual liberation from this material world, but at the end of his devotional service, when the Supreme Personality Godhead appeared before him, he was simply ashamed of the material demands he had in his mind. So one material demand was a kingdom, and one thing which he was also thinking, which he had not let go, was the words of his stepmother. he was still affected by that. So he's now feeling ashamed. Oh, the Lord came to me, and what kind of contaminated heart I approached the Lord. That's the point. Prabhupada writes in the purport is a brilliant purport. This important verse has been discussed by many stalwart commentators, and I can give you the synopsis of those verse in a quick way. I just made a quick notes of it. Those of you online, they can get to see it. And what do? Those who are offline, I'll send it to you later on. Show tabs only. So it's a fantastic purport. So it's like journey of Dhruva Maharaj from material desire to pure devotion. So this is just a key pointers here, those of you able to see online. What was the initial condition before the beginning of Dhruva's bhakti? His motivation was revenge against stepmother, desire for exalted position. He wanted a position not even achieved by Brahma. And he had no idea of mukti. So therefore he did not even think about it, Prabhupada writes. And what was his spiritual credit? The credit was that he got shelter of Nadmani. He took shelter of Nadmani. Then second paragraph of it talks, Lord's kindness in accepting imperfect devotion. Actually, Dhruva had no devotion for the Lord. Dhruva had approached the Lord with material desire. So if you want, you can sign in the Zoom in and see what's happening. The Lord is concerned with the sincerity of service, not initial motives. Even if motivation is material, Krishna accepts service and fulfills both material and spiritual needs. Lord fulfilled all Dhruva's material desires, but also purified his consciousness. And that's the beauty of worshipping Lord Vishnu. You approach him with the material desires, eventually it purifies, the bhakti purifies those desires also. So what did Dhruva received? He received Dhruva Lok, an eternal planet, which is not even achieved by Brahma ever. Along with that, he also got the blessing to rule over planet Earth, if this was a planet where Dhruva was, for 36,000 years. And your senses will not dilapidate. You will not grow old or fall sick. Which means you will remain young and fresh for next 36,000 years, and you rule this earth and then go to Dhruva planet. Like this. What happened when Dhruva got these blessings and when he saw the darshan of the Lord? He underwent transformation. So Prabhupada is summarizing the whole thing, so that's the reason I thought I will take care of this purport. He attained Vasudev platform just by getting the conch touched on his forehead, because of which he became completely free from the modes of material nature. That is called Vasudeva state. Then he realized his earlier desire was like asking for broken glass instead of diamonds. He felt ashamed of his material desires after seeing the Lord face to face. And now he didn't had any desire to control or to lord. Then Prabhupada talks about what is real mukti, and he compares with Mayavad concept of liberation. Mukti pati or mukti pad. The Lord is the master of all types of liberation. There are 5 types: Sayuchya, Sarupya, Salokya, Samipya, and Sarashti. Sayuchya, to become one with the Lord, is the mukti which devotees never aspire. But above all this, the real mukti is attaining the opportunity to render loving devotional service to the Lord. And that mukti, Dhruva had that opportunity to ask the Lord for this. But he just, because he had no idea, he couldn't ask for it. Therefore, he was regretting. So Prabhupada talks about those philosophy lessons. Very interesting thing Krishna mentions here. Prabhupada mentions, Prabhupada uses the word. This is the third last purport where Prabhupada says, Lord says Vedaham in Bhagavad Gita, I know everything. And Prabhupada is using this word saying that Lord knows everything what you're thinking about all your desires. Dhruva had not asked the Lord, my dear Lord, I need a kingdom. Yet Lord fulfilled. The Prabhupada quotes the word this Vedaham Samiti Tani, 7th chapter 26 verse from Bhagavad Gita, saying that Prabhupada says, you don't need to tell anything to the Lord. Lord knows everything what you want. Therefore, Lord fulfilled Dhruva's inner desires even before Dhruva could fully purify himself. Like that. And like this, Lord arranged for his material satisfaction and spiritual perfection. So the conclusion, the last paragraph, Papa says, even an impure start in devotion leads to complete purification. So there is nothing for us to be discouraged. Whatever reason could have been for which we would have started, ultimately, if we continue, it will lead to complete purification. The Lord transforms material desires into eternal spiritual benefits. And Dhruva's life demonstrates this Lord's incredible mercy and personal involvement. Therefore, I was saying this is a very important pastime and lesson for all of us for that reason. So, coming to the conclusion here, Dhruva regrets. So, homework for all of you. Please read on these verses, text number 29 to text number 36, and do read the purport. And maybe it'll be nice if you can write down your reflection. Please start making notes. Sit with a pen and paper. Start writing. Don't sit with your smartphone and keep writing, jotting down something on that. You should start preparing some notebooks. And when you make your notes, after the notes, you have made some notes, or the class have ended, just take a 5 minutes, revise those notes, and write down your reflections and learnings. That's how your learning is happening. Otherwise, just the information is entering the ear. We're just becoming puffed up with an idea that I know, but there's no practice. So do with that. So this is up to text number 36, and the last thing, text number 37 onward. At least let me come up to text number 50 so I can tomorrow take verses ahead. So text number 37 onwards, now Maitreya Muni says, what happened next? Well, Dhruva Maharaj returned back to the kingdom. And text number, very interesting. Which text number? Text number Uttanapad. Text number 46 and 47. So Dhruva had gone to the forest because of what? Because Suruchi had offended. She spoke harsh words. Just like all of us would have had an experience, and many times you would have this doubt also. When we take to the process of bhakti in the beginning, we face a lot of challenges from our family. They just at times do not understand it, and for certain people, it becomes really an anti-relationship. They just cannot acknowledge the fact or accommodate the fact that you can be a devotee or things like that. So let's read text number 46 and 47. Text number 46, Maitreya Muni says, Suruchi, the younger mother of Dhruva Maharaj, seeing that the innocent boy had fallen at her feet, immediately picked him up, embracing him with her hands, and with tears of feeling, she blessed him with the words, my dear boy, long may you live. She is the same mother who has said, may you die and take a birth from my womb to get the privilege of sitting on the lap of your father. She literally, cursed him to die. And now she's saying, may you live long. Text number 47. Unto one who has transcendental qualities. Now Maitreya Muni gives the reason why Suruchi became so, or Dhruva became dear to Suruchi. Important verse, let's recite. Yasya prasanno Bhagavan Gunair Maitriyadibhir Harihi Tasmai Namanti Bhutahani Nimnam Apa Iva Swayam. Unto one who has transcendental qualities due to friendly behavior with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, all living entities offer honor, just as water automatically flows down by nature. Prabhupada's purport. The question may be raised in this connection why Suruchi, who was not at all favorably disposed towards Dhruva, blessed him. Prabhupada writes, the answer is given in this verse. Since Dhruva was blessed by the Lord due to his transcendental qualities, everyone was bound to offer him all respects and benediction. Just as water by its nature flows downward, devotee of the Lord does not demand respect from anyone. For wherever he goes, he is honored by everyone throughout the whole world with all respect. Srinivas Acharya said that the six Goswamis of Vrindavan are respected throughout the entire universe because the devotee, having pleased the Lord, the source of all emanations, automatically pleases everyone, and thus everyone offers him respect. So, and next verse, Uttama hugged Dhruva Maharaj. So, it's a very important verse that highlights maybe for a time being, the society, the family, the friends might have given on us, thinking that we are useless or we have become wayward or something. But eventually, they all will accept. Eventually, our relationship, all those relationships which we felt were dear to us, became broken or sour because of Krishna consciousness. All of them would heal over a period of time. And it's not only the story for Dhruva Maharaj, incident for Dhruva Maharaj, it's for literally everyone. In the beginning, family members, friends, spouse, whatnot, may find it a little difficult. But if we continue sincerely, transcendental qualities, we have to be conscious how we acting. There has to be change in our behavior. Eventually, everyone will accept. In fact, they will become proud. They would feel blessed that so and so family member, or the son, or the daughter, or the husband, or the wife, whatever, became Krishna's devotee. It's just a moment. It's just a separation of time. So until then, please continue practicing, remembering the example of Dhruva Maharaj. Suruchi Yukas Dhruva now is welcoming Dhruva. The relationship have mended. And Dhruva have not done anything to mend his relationship with Suruchi Gautama. What he had done? He has practiced devotional life sincerely. You just have to practice our Krishna consciousness sincerely. For Dhruva it took 6 months. For us it can take 6 weeks to 6 months to 6 years or maybe some more time. But eventually it will happen. And it is a documented fact for anyone and everyone. For example, because all of you or many of you know, His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj. Maharaj himself speaks about it, how much pain as Richard Slavin he gave to his parents when he left America. And his father, when he was in New Vrindavan community serving, his father came there. He took his father on the tour, and his father was crying, "What are you doing? You're worshipping the dolls. You're decorating the dolls." And he offered some prasadam. His father rejected. He said, "No, I don't want. I want you to come back. You cannot be here." And the family had literally disconnected. They thought he's the last case. But when it's the same Radhanath Brahmachari, right? That was his name, as Brahmachari also my name. And when he came to India, started serving, by that time he was His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj. And then in 1988 or 1992, 94, something around that time, in 90s, then Mafatlalji, during his business tour, he intentionally organized such a way that he could meet the father of Maharaj. He met Maharaj, he met the father and he told him, what your son is doing, and invited him. And then the parents came to India. This is somewhere around 94, 95, came to India. Mafatla particularly hosted them, cared for them. And then he took to the program where Saturday evening program, the congregation program where Maharaj was doing the program. And they were sitting in the audience and they saw how all these people, they were so attentively listening to their son, who they felt have gone crazy. Who would listen to this? According to them, this was a mental case. Now they're all listening to him. And they're all acknowledging. They all have become a student. And immediately transformation happened. So Maharaj says, my mother passed away while she was being taken care by the devotees while chanting the holy names of the Lord. And I believe Maharaj's father is still around. And Maharaj goes to America. He passed away? Okay, sorry for my memory fade. So maybe last year he passed away. And Maharaj was personally taking care of his father also. All the relationship have mended. Where at one point of time it became so sad. It's a case for everyone. So hang on, hold on. And therefore it's a very important lesson. So with that, we pause here for today. And tomorrow is Friday? What is tomorrow? Friday. So tomorrow we'll complete this chapter and I'll begin the next chapter. And next week I'm here in Hinjawadi. So I'll be available for more classes next week and we'll take it forward next week. The remaining chapters from the Roma story. All right, so with that we pause here. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. So with the recap here, hopefully tomorrow onwards you'll have more interest in the storyline. Otherwise, आज हमें याद नहीं होता हमने क्या पढ़ा था पहले. Any comments? Any clarification? Yes, Anshul Prabhu?
Prabhuji, so as we know that now in the 40th or 50th verse, so Ruchi has welcomed Dhruv Maharaj, and Dhruv Maharaj also forgiven Panchavati. So my question is that after some time, like I don't know the whole picture, so after some time, as Lord told that she will be killed and due to, so what will happen?
She'll be killed? What will happen means?
Means everything is sorted now, so the relationship is...
No, that's the point I said, na. The Vaishnava may forget. Please remember, the Lord Krishna, the three bending form who is always smiling, he never becomes angry. But his anger manifestation is Nrsimhadev. He takes that form when a Vaishnava is offended. A Vaishnava is offended, you're going to get reaction for it. There's no way out of it.
But in this case, we saw that the Vaishnava is not offended anymore. He is happy with the...
That's what I said. Even if Vaishnava is forgotten, Lord will not forget. The reaction will happen. Reaction will happen for that. It's unavoidable. So Vaishnava Pratka reaction, there's no way out of it. The only way out of it is when that devotee who has got to know, I have committed Vaishnava Pratka, if he goes and asks for forgiveness, just like Durvasa did, he went to Vishnu. Vishnu said, I can't help it. Can you imagine that pastor saying Vaishnava Pratka? Lord said, I can't do it. And I was saying in the context of Nrsimhadev, nobody could pacify the Lord. Who? Except for Prahlad. So Lord told Durvasa, go to Amrish Maharaj. Only he has the power to stop my Sudarshan. Otherwise, nothing can stop the Sudarshan. So that's how seriously Lord takes it. We have to be very careful. This is how Lord takes it seriously. Lord says, Sudarshan is not in my control. I mean, the one who controls everything is saying his weapon is not in his control. What does it make? It doesn't make sense. It's contrary. Which means Lord is so angry. When do you lose control? Only when you are angry, na? Only then you lose control on things. That is what it means. Lord becomes so angry. He says, I have no control. He said, hell with you. Now he is in the Vasudev state. So you will not see Narayan manifesting in that pastime anger. But when he said, I have no control, what it means? So Sudarshan have taken that form. Sudarshan is there chasing after you. Nobody can save you. So these days this Ritvik Vad, this ISKCON, back and forth things are going on. Our devotees are also publishing videos and all that. It's a very bad thing. We should not get involved into it. The issue which is off for our leaders to handle, the ordinary subject should not get involved into it. We are destroying our spiritual life getting into this conversation when it doesn't bother to you. If you have a philosophical doubt, clarify the doubt, move forward. But every Tom, Dick and Harry these days are publishing videos about what Ritvik says, what ISKCON says. Each one of them are destroying their spiritual life. Each one of them. It's a very dangerous thing to get involved into it. And why people get involved into it? खाली दिमाग शैतान का दिमाग. हम पे समय तो है नहीं प्रभुपाद किताब पढ़ने का, नाम जब पे हमारा ध्यान नहीं लगता, तो हम फालतू की चीज़ों में उठक पैठक करनी है. No, it doesn't work. Look at what Bhagavatam says. Where does it say the Lord Nrsimhadev becomes angry for ISKCON, not for Ritviks? Or Lord will become angry only for Ritvik devotees, not ISKCON devotees? Where are we debating and fighting about? And both the parties are publishing videos saying this and that and all that. And leaders have not given any comment. Whose responsibility is GBC's body? He's working. They have not given it. They recently produced a statement, but here everyone is getting into it. So, in one of the letter, when there was a conflict, the disciple had wrote to Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, mind your own business. This is a Prabhupada verse. Mind your own business. Don't get bothered by what others are doing. If it is disturbing and if there is a serious issue, bring it to the notice of the authority. You have no right to say this and that about another person. Don't get involved into it. Why? Look at it, what's happening here. Suruchi had offended Dhruva when he was not even a devotee. That is even more risky. He was not even a devotee, then she had offended. Now you can say, Prabhu, if Dhruva was a devotee, offend Vaishnava Aparadh. But he was not a Vaishnava only. What is the meaning of aparat to Vaishnava? And now people are actually offending Vaishnavas, who are actually chanting the holy names, who have taken the shelter of Prabhupada. You say Prabhupada, you say Guru, whatever you say. Actually, what is offending each other? How risky and how serious would that be? Okay. So, anyways, so Vaishnava Pran, this needs to be, taken. Fear is good. It helps us to grow. And the problem is when we are not fearful of the right things. So, fear, desire, duty, love. These are the 4 platforms on which we function. So, fear is needed. Fear is needed of Vaishnava Pran. Fear is needed of birth, death, old age, and disease. Prahlad Maharaj said, "My dear Lord, I am not fearful of you. Everyone is fearful of you. My father was fearful. His ministers was fearful. Devatas are fearful. Lakshmi is fearful. I am not fearful of you. But I am fearful of birth, death, old age, and disease." And we are fearful of everything but this. We are fearful of everything but committing Vaishnava Aparadh. Something this you should write down about ourselves, what's going on. Reflect upon it. How am I living my life? I'm just doing something, and tomorrow you'll leave something like this. So many devotees leave because some basic misunderstanding of how they should live their devotional life. Anyone and everyone feels confident to pass comment to anyone. Okay? So just take care of this. This is very important. I can only emphasize. What can I say more on that? Okay, yes, Madan Radhika.
Hare Krishna, lovely such a nice session. So many points to learn. Actually, so practical for our devotional service. I had the same doubt that actually Suruchi, I think she offended Dhruva Maharaj, but Dhruva Maharaj was not a devotee. But then why the Lord actually punished Suruchi to this extent?
So 2 things, as we just read the verse, Dhruva had not forgotten about her while practicing devotion. So Dhruva still had, so that was a mistake of Dhruva's side, therefore Dhruva Maharaj was regretful. He had worshipped the Lord with material desires. So Lord fulfilled those desires. So he had somewhere in the core of his heart the desire to punish Suruchi. That's the reason we read in that verse, na? So Dhruva had not forgotten. And what can you expect from Dhruva Maharaj? He was not a bhakta. He was a sakama character who had taken to bhakti or to the process which Narad Muni said. Forget about Dhruva, think about us. We call ourselves practicing devotees. What is the state of our heart if somebody offends us? How easy for us to let go. Maybe we have become a little better at it. And there is a scope of improvement. So there's something we need to introspect about it. And second thing, this is a generic statement which is said that we should be careful of not offending anyone, in fact. Not only devotees, even non-devotees. We should be careful. I was sitting with, we were in Italy, Prabhupada Desh. I was sitting for a dinner with our Rishi Kumar Prabhu, a fantastic personality. He is the one who started, he is the chaplain, Hindu chaplain in Oxford University. And he has this whole study of Hindu science or department. He's the head of it, and he's not even 10th pass. He's not even a 10th pass. And he's heading a department at Oxford University. Specifically created for him or created by him, whatever way. That's a whole story, history. And we were having a wonderful discussion. He made a very beautiful point. He said, how casually our devotees offend Devatas. Devata. We have to be careful. There's all immaturity. What we are speaking about Lord Shiva, how we are speaking about Lord Shiva, are we offending him? What's there at the back of mind? So we have to be careful about all these things. So therefore I would request all of you begin to take to the practice of writing. When you listen to the lecture, write down the points that you heard, and then once you finish hearing it, just spend 2-3 minutes revisiting those points and writing your reflection. And then you have something to revisit. What did I learn now? Because there is every day something to make an improvement, only if we want to make an improvement. If you're just living our life, मुझे बस 16 माला खत्म करना है, मैं सुबह में अटेंडेंस लगा के आ जाऊँगा, बाकी का दिन जीवन मेरे लिए है. Very little improvement will happen. There has to be some desire for improvement, that I want to improve. I want to become a better Vaishnava. And when we don't have a desire to become better Vaishnava, you will not even take any feedback or suggestion for improvement to make an improvement, because you have no desire left for improvement. Just doesn't want to make it. I mean, can you imagine how dangerous situation it is we have put ourselves? Even if we get a feedback for improvement, we don't want to improve. We keep getting feedback, but we don't make a change. It's a very strange thing. So now you think about it, for how long would we last in bhakti like this? You know? First of all, nobody wants to get a feedback. And if somebody gets a feedback, also doesn't want. The first thing comes is ego. Oh, मुझे कैसे बोल दिया? मैं कैसे गलत हो सकता हूँ? A very difficult situation. For those who are not in this situation, we are very fortunate. You know, you're very fortunate if you're not in that situation. But if you are in such a situation, it's a very dangerous situation, where you can't take a feedback, and even if you get a feedback, you will not work on it. Which means there is no desire to improve. There's only desire to survive. Chalte raho. And I'll tell you what will happen. After a few years, such a devotee would be the one, if you would have heard his case, Rukmini Krishna Prabhu's class, and I made him to speak on that related matter here also. What is the future of such a devotee? After a few years in bhakti, rather than becoming blissful, smiling, beaming with happiness, he'll be the one who will have the most sadistic, grumpy face. He'll be moving around with a grumpy face, as if what tortures and what not he or she has gone through in his other life. He would have so many complaints for his authority, for the devotee community, for the temple, everyone. And you cannot expect any positive response from him. Even ask him, should I, just like Rukmini Krishna was saying about one of his senior. So he got to know that I want to join Brahmacharya. Hey, Brahmacharya, must join karo. Very risky, huh? It's failure. And he was saying, what failure? And he looked so grumpy and all that. This would be the future of all those devotees who are not working on making an improvement, who are not willing to accept feedback. This is what you will end up becoming, a grumpy, a sadistic character. And devotional life would be not a joyful experience. It just becomes a painful experience, because you have nothing left good to see in others. And these are not remote cases. Every community have got cases like this. So take care of that. I don't know what was I speaking, what was the question. I forgot the question also, was something I said. Huh? Surichi, okay, yeah, fine. Madam Medhavni, let's conclude with your question.
So my question is also related to Prabhu and Prabhu are asking the question. Prabhuji, first and foremost, Prabhu, I wanted to thank you for a very wonderful class. It's been after a long, long time, and thank you for continuing next week also, Prabhu. We are waiting for your class actually. Prabhuji, my question is, here we see that I was just drawing a parallel to Devanand Pandit and Srivas Prabhu, where offense was committed. But Devanand Prabhu also served another devotee. Lord, kind of inspired him to take forgiveness from Srivas Prabhu, and that way he was forgiven. So I was not sure. Here it just talks about both of them, embracing each other, and Suruchi and Dhruv Maharaj. But then there is no forgiveness or anything that is mentioned here. So I was just thinking, aloud, that because we commit so many Vaishnava aparadhas, and after time, other time, 3-4 times, we don't even know that we committed Vaishnava aparadha. So if we continue to serve the devotees to the best of our ability, and will that help, like you do devotional service, and because of the blessing of the other, like 72 hours, and as you're drawing a parallel group, I think you understood my question.
All right. So the best service such individuals can do is follow the NOA text number 1. Vacho vegam, manasa krodha vegam, jivva vegam, udarupashta vegan, etan vegan, yovishaheta dhira, sarvam apimam pratvim sashishyat. The best way, if you're not sure what are we doing is right and wrong, is first of all limit our speaking, because most of the offenses and aparadh happens because of our uncontrolled speech. So become a good listener and then trying to be a speaker. I would say that's one service that we all can adapt in our life and give ourselves Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. To conclude and summarize, please pay attention to the first 3 verses of NOI and try to assess oneself how well we are practicing it. So that could be one practical tip of dealing with this. All right? Thank you. Thank you everyone for joining in. Hare Krishna.